Welcome to the Mental Health Hour. Hello to all the replay viewers as well, and hello to our live viewers that are trickling in. And Stream Elements says we are live. How are we today, Gemma?
Tired, but okay. Getting there. We've got half term here, so it's been a full week of having Thomas home and having to entertain him. So, yeah.
Halftime from the big game. The game of life. Well, we're doing a fun kind of little broadcast today. Very simple, to the point. Just checking in. So we do a Craig. Hi, back shortly. Yes, good to see you, Craig. Well, we'll talk briefly. We'll talk in a moment. But yes, this is just a very easy, to the point episode this week. And we just wanted to talk a little bit about self check-ins, and we that's just yet another thing that we constantly bring up here on the show, and haven't really dedicated an episode to it. We've done an episode in the past called self-care, which kind of plays into this whole thing, but really the basis of this whole episode will just be how to properly take care of a daily check-in. Sometimes you want to do it multiple times a day, just whenever you can think about it. Really, it's good to do a quick little self check-in. Hello, Molly. Hello, Craig. Welcome in to the show. Hello, Eric. Eric J Gaming there. He will be joining us as a guest on the show here in 2 weeks. So we're excited to speak with him. We'll be doing an episode on anxiety. Another brilliant topic that we just have not yet covered. There's so much. We're at episode 39, and we still have barely scratched the surface of everything we can cover here. So that's great to see.
The thing about mental health, it's such a broad topic. There's so many things to cover.
Yes, very much so. Very much so. Plenty to talk about, plenty to cover, and lots of material. So, Michael Joseph Murray, hello to you, good sir. Checking in, always good, as well as checking in on others. Yes. And there's TJ. Good to see you, TJ. So yeah, we'll get started right away, and we'll start with Gemma. Tell us, Gemma. Tell us a little bit about checking in, self check-ins. You kind of set up a self check-in channel on our Discord as well.
Yeah. Well, that was down to the fact that I know that there's some people that have said in the past that they don't really have anyone to check on them, and sometimes feeling alone. And I thought that that was a good way of reaching out, so that if people wanted to say like they were struggling, they had a place where that they could, without having to go into too much detail, if they didn't want, say they were struggling, then people could reach out. It's just a good thing to check in, as as Michael said, check in with yourself to make sure you're okay, not doing too much, and that you have actually like taken medication, that you've eaten, slept, looking after yourself, but also checking in with other people to make sure that the people around you are doing okay. Because sometimes all somebody needs is just a hello, hope you're all right, thinking of you, to completely change the way their day's going. And I watched this. It was I think it was an advert for British Rail or something like that, and it was, to give you a really quick outline of it. There was this woman over a tannoy, and she was saying that somebody had left the house and they had made the decision to end their life, and that all it took to change the outlook of that was the fact that somebody stopped to see how they were doing and make sure they were okay. And then it says, how do I know this? Because I'm that person that was left the house going to take my life. And I just thought, wow, that was really powerful.
Yeah.
And it's true. And I was also in that situation myself. I don't know if I've shared much about this, and I'm getting in really deep really quickly.
That's all right.
But many, many years ago, I found myself stood over a bridge, over a motorway, and I was genuinely going to jump. And I think they maybe knew what I was doing, because how often do you find yourself stood over a bridge,
Yeah.
looking down if you're not going to do something? And then somebody came and spoke to me, and that completely changed the outlook of what happened, because obviously I'm still here. But it's just checking up on someone, to feel like somebody cares about you can completely change your entire day.
Oh yeah.
So
Definitely.
just make sure you check in on some people.
Yeah. That's very good point. Um, not only is it important to check in on ourselves, um, but as Gemma and Michael were pointing out there, checking in on others as well is just um, a very powerful way to show that you care,
Mhm,
even if it is just in passing kind of thing. Just checking in
mhm. Yeah,
genuinely feels good
yeah,
to some.
yeah, the gift of time is something. To give someone your time is something that you can give to someone, but you can't get back. So to give that time to somebody, enough to show that you care, to give your time to somebody, is a very great thing, to feel like somebody wants to spend their time with you, the gift of giving them your time, because you can't get that back.
Yeah, and especially in a time when it seems like everybody's time is so valuable,
Mhm.
and everybody's always in a rush. Uh,
Yeah.
it's just that's a great way of putting it. Um, so thank you for sharing that, Gemma, as always.
Yeah.
Um, I myself still do uh, a modified daily check-in. I feel like it was in the beginning of this journey uh, of sobriety and what have you. It was more of a structured approach. Uh,
Mhm.
I kind of had a routine about it almost. Now it's just like laid back and almost second nature. It's just a part of my day now to
Mhm.
kind of stop, not really stop and smell the roses per se, but uh, stop and just see how things are going and um, how you're feeling. Well, this was my check-in. Got to go rest. All right, TJ, thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it. Good to see you, and get some rest. I hope all is well with you. Um, and Michael says it's very low key to let people know you care. Yes, indeed. Um, Hattie is in the house as well. Good to see you, Hattie. Welcome in. Welcome in to everybody. And Molly says, I check in on an 87-year-old neighbor. His wife passed a year ago. He's all alone there. I visit at least 2 times a week and make sure he's got food and take care. That's great. That is
Mm.
awesome. That is awesome. Um, Taking care of our neighbors, taking care of each other, and but most importantly, taking care of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because as we've mentioned many a time over, we can't very well do anything for others if we're not in the right mindset or if we're not in a good headspace. So it's just as paramount to take care of yourself and uh,
Mm-hmm.
to keep an eye on things in your own world, in your own realm. And how do we do that? There's a number of things that we can do, and we'll get into a little bit here tonight. Just kind of going over some basics as far as what we should be, checking, or how we should be checking in.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's plenty of things that we have gone over as far as like journaling and self-care items, um, and that's more preventative maintenance, if you will. I don't know if that makes sense, but uh, preventative maintenance is kind of like staying ahead of things, and uh, you know, I guess in a way, absolutely, self check-in does fall into that same category. However, when you're taking an approach to physically stop and ask yourself, how am I feeling? Why am I feeling this way? Um, is it good, bad, indifferent? Am I indifferent about it? Is there anything that can be done to better or um, stay the course, if you will? Like if we're doing just fine and we feel genuinely happy with the way things are going today, uh, how do we maintain that? How do we stay that course so that things don't uh, flip on us, if you will?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so, a couple of things to get into tonight. Should be pretty low key episode. Um, Gemma and I are both. Uh, I'm sure everybody is just the same, but there's a lot going on in both of our personal worlds right now, health
Mm-hmm.
wise, baby wise, running around errands, all kinds of stuff happening. So this episode comes at a perfect time to just stop, check in. Gemma and I can do a quick check in with ourselves on tonight's episode, and hopefully extend that forward to uh, all of our live viewers right now, as well as the replay viewers. And I will have this uploaded to YouTube tomorrow after the 24-hour clause is fulfilled. Um, but that being said, I will go ahead and do a quick start. I'm feeling as of this week, and that it's important to mention when you do a self check-in, uh, don't look at it as a broad uh, over 35 years. How have I felt? We're talking about the here and now. So at most, usually it's just I look at the past week, maybe 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
How have I been feeling in this present 2 weeks period? Because that's important to kind of, if you picture like a graph of your emotion over a 2 week span, you can see the trending line and how it's either going up or down if you were to actually plot it out on paper. So yeah, please, I want to kind of preface with that and say we keep it within a week, 2 weeks max. Some actual documents and papers out there that you can find online about check-ins and whatnot. Also recommend a month, 30 days time. That's fine too. Myself personally, I usually keep it no more than 2 weeks, just to kind of get a gauge for where my moods have been and how they've been kind of swinging. My wife will be more than happy to tell me how, if I, well, sometimes I don't even have to ask, but if I ask, I'm like, hey, how have you noticed my moods have been in this past week or two? And,
Mm.
she'll give me an honest opinion of like, because sometimes uh, I'll have to make a medication. I'll have to schedule an appointment with my doctor to make a adjustment to my medication, because antidepressants and anxiety pills are ever changing. You grow a tolerance, you build a tolerance, excuse me,
Mm-hmm.
to these medications, and they have to be adjusted on a regular basis, and that's normal. So sometimes she'll point out that, hey, I think you've kind of seemed like you've slipped back away a little bit, like you're detaching a bit, or you've been irritable, or you've been perfectly fine. Everything looks great. So getting another perspective as well is a great way to add into that, especially if it's somebody that you live with and you spend a good majority of your time with. Uh, so far, Gemma, am I covering everything okay as far as you can tell? Am I missing anything?
Oh no, definitely. Doing, yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
And just if like for the person like, because I live on my own, apart from a child, and he will more than happily tell me, well, Thomas, if he thinks that I'm in a bad mood, absolutely nothing more honest than a child. But yeah, just a good way to do that sometimes, just to take a step back from the here and now and just like, but I can usually tell when I'm in a bad mood because, yeah, you can just tell.
Yeah. A lot of times we can tell, if
Mhm.
we're in a bad mood, but do we always want to admit it? Or are we quick to change that around, if you will?
Mhm.
Demi, welcome in. Good to see you, my friend. Happy you could stop in this evening. Uh, a great long-time friend of the show, Demi.
Mhm.
As all of you guys are that are here in the live chat, we thank you for being here each week. It's good to see everybody's face. Good to see everybody, and we're checking in not with ourselves tonight, but with everybody, with our community as well. And as
Mhm.
I mentioned earlier, there is a space in our Discord. If you are a part of our Discord channel or our Discord server,
Mhm.
there's a channel in there about self check-ins, and Gemma will post a check-in every so often.
I'll
Uh,
do one after the show to make sure that we can all check in with ourselves.
yeah, and how we do it there is kind of just like an emoji based um,
Mhm.
thing. Gemma, if you want to kind of talk about it a little bit, that'd be
Yeah, I'm gonna open it up real quick. Let me do it on. Yeah, hang on, I'll do it here.
sure.
So it really is pretty easy, and it allows you to check in and give as little or as much information as you want. Um, Let me bring up the graphic that I made for it real quick. It is in here. So I will post things like check, whoops, camera, check your mood. And then there was the ones at Christmas and things. And you just literally have to put at the underneath that you can put like an emoji. So there's you press the emoji, and then in the mental health hour one, there are different little egg timers. So there's like the red, orange, yellow, light green, and dark green. So the dark green would be the best one. So you're feeling great. The red being you're feeling terrible. You're like you're rubbish. You need to talk to somebody. And there are the you can post. There we go. It's there. It's you can post as little or as much as you like. Reach out for help. And what I would encourage anyone to do that's in there, if you see anybody's posted that they're struggling or in crisis or anything really, even if they've posted a green one, like, what's gone great for you, like just reach out to people, talk to people. in there, and it is a really great community. So that's a way to do that, and you don't have to feel like you have to talk if you don't want, but the option's there if you do.
Absolutely. And Gemma and I are very active with the Discord server. It's one of our favorite tools
Mm-hmm.
as far as our community goes. We will both be quick to reach out if need be. We also have a wonderful group of mods that can easily be reached out to as well.
Mm-hmm.
But the community as a whole can take care of each other.
Yeah.
As we're kind of discussing tonight, it's a lovely part of this show. One of the best parts about this show is the community that we've generated, that we've been lucky enough to have. I think the Discord server is 50 some strong now, and
Mm-hmm.
still growing.
Yeah.
And it's just these are all great people. Everybody in there is very happy to reach out. And speaking of our community, here's Jim in Chicagoland right on cue. Another great resource as far as someone who cares, as somebody in this community, in this mental health hour community that we've been lucky enough to generate, that genuinely cares and wants to listen, learn, and support, as he says, over on his channel with his Catalyst program. And yeah, so please take advantage. If you're not in the Discord, there is always a link available in there's a link available in my Twitch channel. The bio link has we'll put that in the comments.
I'm just making one now to put in the comments.
And yes, Gemma's gonna set one up. Or just reach out. Go to our bio.link/TMHH. And you can reach out on any of our socials if you can't find it, if you need help, if you'd like to join, please feel free. It's a very open community. We ask that a few rules are followed, as with any Discord server or any kind of community such as this type of thing. And Molly, reach out on Twitter or Instagram or whatever, and we can chat. But right now, I think we're looking okay as far as the ratio of folks, but definitely want to keep some in reserve. So appreciate that. I very, very much so appreciate that. But yes, getting back to it, let's get into a little bit of some slides and go over what exactly we're talking about here with this check-in. Gemma, if you are good to go.
Let me just get my phone.
Start very basic, very
yeah. Okay, so we've got check in with yourself. It says, how are you feeling physically and mentally? A lot of people can find it easier to check in with how they're feeling physically, because like if you are physically exhausted, it's a lot easier to know that, whereas sometimes it takes a little extra to really think about how we're actually doing inside mentally. You really sometimes have to stop and think about that. Then what is taking up most of your headspace right now? So again, down to the mental side of things, what is going through your mind? Is there anything really like eating you up? Is there something particularly bothering you that you maybe could do with talking to someone about? And if so, then reach out. How are your energy levels? Like, I know when I have been to the hospital and things, and they refer to anyone that's got any sort of physical condition, and they refer to spoons, and like, don't use all your spoons for one activity, things like that. It's down to having a limited amount of spoons. People refer to themselves as spoonies or zebras and things like that. And it's down to knowing how many spoons or how much physical and mental capacity you have within yourself, and making sure that you reserve that for what you need. Don't use it all for like I did this myself the other day. I had to clean the kitchen because I was trying to do a broadcast. I never ended up doing the broadcast because I'd burnt myself out that much. I ended up doing my knee in and ended up at the hospital. So it was just a complete nightmare. So that's what I say about don't use all the energy that you have for one thing and then find knocking you on and struggling. And then, are you coping okay with stress and finding healthy ways to manage this? Again, if you're struggling, if you need any help with stress or ways to manage things, you can reach out within the Discord. There are things in there, but there's loads more things that I can share and will do over the duration. And then, what support do you need right now? So, right here in this, right here and now, like, you don't have to answer it in the chat, feel free if you want, but is there anything right now in this right here and now, is there anything that could be done to help you right here and now?
Yeah.
Whether that's like just a little something, like you need to go and have you had a meal, for example? Do you need a drink? Are you hydrated? Do you need some rest? Anything like that. Just how are you right now? Right here, right now, how are you?
Yeah. Perfect. And that last one is I'm glad that you stressed that last bit there, because it is
Mhm,
it's just as important as realizing exactly what's going on.
mhm,
Taking the time to check in is one thing, but then what can we do about it? Like, let's say we're not feeling the greatest, or
mhm,
um, what resources do you need? That's one of the things that comes with. I'm gonna take it for a moment away from mental health and talk about my job for a second. In the
mhm,
fire service, when we are in trouble uh, in a burning building or something, and we have to call what's called a mayday, um, we have to try and relay a report called a lunar report, and that stands for location, unit, name, etc. And basically, these are just bullet points of short little pieces of information of where are you in the building, um, what's your location, uh, and what unit are you assigned to, who are you, what's your assignment, like what are you doing, are you searching, are you on a hose line, um, and then the last thing, the R in lunar, is resources. What resources do you need? Do you need a ladder to help with a rescue? Do you
mhm,
need another hose line in there? What resources do we need to bring to mitigate this situation that you're in?
mhm.
So that just kind of puts it in a real life kind of perspective, as well as what Gemma was talking about there with the check-in. What resources do you need if you're in crisis at that point in time? Is there anything that can be brought to you, or a friend can do to help
Mhm.
mitigate your situation? So, excellent way
Yeah,
to.
that was a really good way of putting it. Like, yeah, because
So
that's like the emergency side of things. But then, so can real life be an emergency if you're like stressing out over something and that anxiety is building up within you. Like, it could be with your job, say, like when you go in. I had a friend that was in the firefighting job, and their oxygen tank was running low. I'll
yeah,
never forget they told me that, and they had to do something like that, and they had to be gone and got out of the building because they were running out of oxygen. But it's same thing as like even down to having a cup of tea and just like chilling out, or a bath, because if you don't look after yourself right here in the here and now, you could go to a full-blown panic attack or an anxiety attack. It could escalate beyond belief if you don't look after yourself now.
yeah.
Sorry, Mom.
No, that's perfect. Exactly. Um, Yeah. So I
And
mean, what resources could mitigate this situation? Could help mitigate the situation? And uh,
hmm
you know, is there anything that a friend or somebody could bring to this
hmm
situation to help? Um,
hmm
so yeah, perfect. Um, the next two slides are kind of one and the same,
hmm
but I liked both of the information. So we'll just kind of go over these a little bit one at a time, Gemma, if you don't mind.
Yeah, yeah. So this again would be appropriate for the like to go through what you need in the here and now, maybe. So like, how am I feeling physically and mentally? How long have I spent on my phone today? Which is a really big thing about like taking some time off your screen. It's a great tool to have for connecting like we are doing now, but also you do need time off your phone because it can cause headaches and things like that. And you need to come off your phone to take care of yourself. Like, have a bath, have a drink, have something to eat, which it says, when did I last eat a meal? And I'm terrible for this myself, like sitting down and having a meal. And that could come into play where we have the mindfulness, not just sitting and eating a meal and just cramming it down, but eating a meal mindfully, really thinking about what it is you're doing. What are you eating? Really enjoying it, savoring it. Like, what does it taste like? Really, really going into that, enjoying it. And especially like just a quick one on like, especially if you're trying to lose weight, for example, because this is something that really helped me, not so much as cutting down the food, but eating the food mindfully. Because if you're just cramming it in, chances are you're going to miss that point where you feel satisfied and get to the point where you feel bloated.
Yeah.
So if you sit down and slowly eat a meal, but mindfully do it, chances are you will catch that stage where you feel satisfied, where you feel, right, okay, I could stop now.
Yeah. That's a good
And
point.
that really helped me with losing weight because I have lost an insane amount. I've lost nearly 12 stone in weight now.
Nobody knows what that means.
I don't like, Alexa, how many pounds is 12
It's
stone?
about, I think it's 14 pounds, I want to say.
Stone is 168 pounds.
168 pounds. So
Is how
that's how
many?
much I've lost.
Oh, that's okay. So, but I believe 1 stone is about 14 pounds.
14 pounds, yeah.
Yeah. But
But
anyway,
I literally just lost that by cutting out the junk food, but also eating things that I did mindfully. So that's another good thing. And then, when did I last drink water? Now, I really struggle with drinking water, but anyway, it does help, even if you have to put a little something in it to help, like just a little bit of squash or something, just to keep yourself hydrated. Because if you're not hydrated, that can come with its own problems, like the migraines and things. Um, oh, thank you for the congratulations and stuff. When did I last go outside? So even if you don't have to go somewhere specifically, just going and standing in your garden or going for a little walk. It doesn't have to be anywhere specific. Just
getting a
around the
breath
block.
of fresh air.
Anything. Yeah, there's a lot to be said about just taking time out of your current environment, especially if you're getting stressed about something, getting away from the situation and going for a walk.
Yeah.
When did I last take a bath or shower? Again, that can be something that you could do really. I like to do that and just relax, light a few candles, just lay back and relax. Doing that with a child in the house, not ideal.
So,
However,
so
I've
the
got one of those baths with the door on, so you have to physically empty the bath before you can get out. And he has got a really great way of, just as I sit back and got the bath filled, it's like I'll hear mummy. I'm like, oh no. So try and do it so that it's something that you can do just to like relax with, but you can also for self-care, just like for hygiene purposes as well. We do kind of need to wash and
so
things.
that's
So,
a good point to point or taking a bath
mhm,
or a shower, as simple as it sounds,
mhm,
it's a monumental tool for kind of checking in and seeing how we're doing, um, and what headspace we're in. Because, you could use it in a multitude of ways, like you were saying, in the mindfulness approach or the relaxation technique. Taking a bath can really de-stress, recharge that mental health battery, if you will.
Yeah.
Um, aromatherapy bath,
And pain as
candles,
well.
etc. But then on the other side of the coin, if you look at the question as it's asked there, when did I last take a shower or bath? That is a huge tool to gauge depression, because a lot of times, most of the time, which is why it's on there on this list, when we're in a state of depression or decline, in that sense, we let our hygiene go. We just don't care. Um,
Yeah.
it's harder to get ourselves motivated to get out of bed, to go through the daily brushing your teeth, go through the taking a shower, go through the getting dressed. You just wear the same clothes. You don't care. You isolate and stay inside. So
Yeah.
you don't need to impress anybody, put on fresh clothes, go outside, all that stuff. So, in one sense, yes, a bath or a shower or whatever can do wonders for, just your overall mental health, as far as using it as a relaxation technique, or um, something along the lines of, uh, you know, just feeling better. That's another thing. Like, a shower can literally do worlds for your what's going on inside your brain at that given moment. Um, getting clean, and putting on a fresh pair of clothes, can just absolutely change the way you're feeling. Um, but on the other side of the coin, and not looking at it from a relaxation point of view, when did I shower last? Is just a great tool to kind of gauge where you are on that depression spectrum. Like, just keep your eyes on it, because once you start letting that hygiene go and slip, you can definitely see a downward trend in in
Yeah.
the other aspects of your uh, mental health as well. Anyway, I'm sorry. I just wanted.
No, that's definitely true. And I've been there myself where everything just seems like a chore. Everything just seems like monotonous. It's just too much. It's like everything's just like, oh, do I really have to do that? And you get to the point where you just can't be bothered to do anything, and everything's a task just to do that. And literally, I was at the stage where all I wanted to do was just sleep. So yeah. Okay, and it helps with pain as well. Like, there's so many things you can put into your bath just to help ease pain and things like that.
Mhm.
Okay, so what can I do that will bring me joy? It can just be something really simple, like checking in with people. Like, I used to go out and go live and stuff just to be with friends, or go on somebody else's broadcast, or go out, just something to give yourself a little bit of happiness, and
Mhm.
to try and aim to do that every day. It doesn't have to be something big. You don't have to go out and spend hundreds or thousands of pounds or dollars or whatever your currency. You don't have to do that. Just something small, like just treat yourself, or just have a bath, or anything, just
Yeah.
anything. When did I last do a kind thing for someone else? So that comes back to checking in on other people, like what Molly said about going to her neighbors. That's a kind thing to do. Again, it doesn't have to be something huge, but at the end of the day, you don't want to be doing too much for other people and not enough for yourself, burning the candle at both ends to the point where you're exhausted. So just take care of that as well. Am I tired? And the thing with the tiredness. I found that getting too much sleep as well can make you even more tired.
Very true.
So trying to get the right amount of sleep without oversleeping, because then you're just exhausted all the time. So try to make sure you get that right amount of sleep for you rather than just oversleeping, because that can be detrimental as well.
Mm-hmm.
Then what is taking up most of my headspace? A good thing to do about that is to journal. We always say this, write it down, because not only can you come back to it, but I find it's a way of getting it out of your head.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it's something particularly troublesome to you, what I used to do was to write it down, and then you don't ever have to show anyone. And a couple of things I actually burnt them, obviously in a safe way, bearing in mind that, Tim is a firefighter and all. I'm not condoning pyromania or anything like that.
This is actually a tool that is used quite frequently. It's writing
Yeah.
on things on paper and then burning them.
Yeah, definitely. That helped me. So in a safe way, obviously. But and then what can I celebrate today? Again, people think celebrate with like birthdays or like Christmas or whatever festival or anything like that. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be that. It can be celebrating something that you've accomplished for yourself, even if it's just something small, like, if you struggle to, like we've said, take a bath or a shower, I managed to do that, or I managed to wash my hair, or I managed to get out and do something today. That's something to celebrate. If you struggle to do that usually, and then you've managed to do that, that's huge.
Yeah. And
And
just to elaborate one little bit on the head, what's taking up most of my headspace, that is a paramount thing to go over, or I mean to check in with yourself. If something is bothering you, or you're doing a check in and you're like, I just don't feel right. Well, what's going through your head the most? What those racing thoughts, the when you lay down to go to sleep at night and those racing thoughts set in, what is the majority of what you're dealing with or thinking about? What's weighing heavy on you?
mhm,
Is humongous to go over, and to try and diagnose if you can.
mhm,
Um, Also, how long have I spent on the phone today? Going back to that whole screen time thing is like Gemma was saying, it's a great way to connect. It's awesome that we can have this technology, but then something that like Jim talks about on Catalyst all the time is the doom scrolling, if you will, the
mm,
constant bad news, that you're getting updates, constant updates from uh, news channels or social media. Social media is, well, again, another great tool, but can weigh heavy on our mental health um, in many different ways. So taking a break from that is
mhm,
just as important. And this here, this next slide is kind of the same thing that we've just gone over, but this is a quicker, more what's the word? The 5-minute mental health checklist, as it says there.
mhm,
These are uh, the ones that kind of can help you diagnose or perform a quicker check-in versus all of the ones that we just went over. These are that's taking the ones that we just went over from this list, um, and kind of just breaking it down to 5 or 6 of them.
mhm.
And we will put these in the Discord channel as well, so that we can uh, let you guys go over them yourselves. But I did want to get into the last slide, Gemma. Um,
Yeah.
and this is just an overall 8 tips for having sound mental health, and I'll let you take it away.
Yeah. Okay. So the 8 tips for having sound mental health. Number 1, build strong relationships to avoid feelings of isolation and despair. And again, that can be like online. Also good to have people around you as well. Number 2, exercise regularly to boost mood and lower the risk of depression. It doesn't have to be anything strenuous. Do it to your ability. Don't overexert yourself. Set realistic boundaries and goals, which is the next one as well. Set realistic goals both personally and professionally. So I think we're our own worst critic when it comes to things like that. Just be realistic, but be kind to yourself. Don't like don't be constantly beating yourself up. Take regular breaks from the routine life by planning trips or get-togethers. Again, it doesn't have to be far. It can just be to your local park or anything. Just something to get away from the everyday hustle and bustle. Number 5, stay engaged in activities that you enjoy. Maintain a journal to write at least. We always say about how the journal helps here. Again, it doesn't have to be anything. It doesn't have to be a novel. It can just be something brief. You can do it on pen and paper, on the phone, anything, whatever's best for you. It's only for you. It's not something you're going to hand in and have marked. It's not an essay. So you can just do whatever you want. Maintain a journal to write at least one positive thing every day. That's something that I was going to put on the Discord that I'm building at the moment, a gratitude journal. And I'm hoping that everybody can put, it's a once a week thing where we can all put one thing each week that we're grateful for. Refrain from using alcohol, drugs, or medication to seek temporary relief. I'm sure we can all agree that all of those things don't really bring you any real joy. When it mentions drugs, it doesn't mean prescribed like antidepressants. Make sure you are on the right ones for yourself. With those, we've mentioned it many times, it's not a one size fits all. Go to a specialist that is more knowledgeable about antidepressants. I know here GPs prescribe those. Don't be afraid to say it's not working, but at the same time, you need to give it time. It really is like very, very varied from person to person which works. But with this, it means illicit drugs. And obviously, we all know that alcohol's a depressant.
Mm-hmm.
So don't do that because you're not really helping yourself in the long run.
Self-medicating, yeah.
And then number 8, accept who you are and never hesitate to ask for help when required, which we always say, if you need help, reach out to either one of us, whichever is best for you. And we will always endeavor to help you in any way we can, but we're not medically trained, but we can certainly try.
And as Hattie said earlier there, the Discord is a great and safe place. No matter what we all might be going through, remember you are never alone. Never feel afraid or nervous asking for help. Very
That's
true.
brilliant. Yeah.
It's something that we are not really trained to do. Like we aren't. It's not normal for us to want to accept help,
Mhm.
and that's understandable. Um, Trust me, I know very well. It was one of the hardest things I had to do was come to terms with the fact that I wasn't managing my life in an appropriate way, and
Mhm.
I had become unmanageable. So, um, never be afraid to ask for help.
Mhm.
So, those were just kind of off, not really off topic, but off topic. Eight what do they call it? 8 tips for having sound mental health.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, we will go ahead and upload these onto the Discord server after the show.
Mhm.
Gemma is going to set up a self-check on the Discord after this episode. So
Mhm.
please feel free to hop on there and let us know how you're doing. Let us know if you need anything. Don't be afraid to pop in and just check in. Check in with yourself. Check in with others. Such a simple thing that we can take 5 minutes out of each day, sometimes
Mhm.
multiple times a day, and just kind of see how things are going. It's absolutely necessary to keeping our own mental health at the forefront, and then once we're taken care of and we're able of sound mind and able to help others, we can do that as well.
Mhm.
But remember, a couple of things that we went over that were good. The screen time, social media. It's such a great tool. It really is. It's a great way to connect. It's a great way for all of us to be together. But it can also have its downside, especially if we're not having a really great day to begin with. Just getting on and seeing everybody else's perfect lives, as you will.
Mhm.
That was my big thing when I was going through divorce and everything. It was constant doom scrolling to take Jim's term there again. Everything that I saw was just another reminder that I had screwed up, or however you want to put it. So taking time away from social media if it's necessary, and just like Gemma was saying, putting the phone down for 5 minutes to take a shower, to eat
Mhm.
mindfully, um, to do just simple tasks around the house, especially if you're sitting down with your significant other for a date night in particular. Like if you guys have set time aside to have a meal together, we'll say we're doing a dinner date. Uh, what Put the phones down.
Mhm.
What is it? What good does that do to set this time aside with your significant other and both of you just be sitting there on your phone the whole time? Put it down, engage with one another, and enjoy each other's company, right?
That always made me laugh when, like, I'd go out to a restaurant, say, the number of people that are sat there like that, and they'd be sat opposite their partners, and they'd be both just looking at their phones, and I'd be like, what is the point? Like, you've come out to spend that time with your partner, with somebody that you want to be with for that time. Why are you on your phone? I'm pretty sure that anything could wait, like, surely.
Yeah, indeed. Well,
Mhm.
thank you guys for all the bits. Thank you for all the follows, the subs, the likes, the shares.
Mhm.
Please, if you haven't already, check out our YouTube channel and subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. Wanted to talk about this briefly. This is next week's episode. Quick programming note.
Mhm.
Next week, we are doing our live Q&A special, part 2 or round 2, I guess. This was a fun time when we did this one. What was it? I forget.
A while ago now.
It
Before
was,
Christmas, wasn't it?
yeah, just before Christmas. We did
Mhm.
the first one of these, and it went over very well. Gemma's put it in the chat there,
Mhm.
but you can scan that QR code as well. Submit a question. Uh, Keep it mental health related, and we will be addressing. We have quite a few already, I believe, Gemma.
Yeah, we've got quite a
At
few.
last check. So next week should be a good episode. We might go a little bit over an hour, but be that as it may. I think the last one went an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes. So we're very excited. We enjoyed it. And do you have anything to add on this one, Gemma?
Only really briefly. As you say, keep it mental health related, but like before, if there's any names that are put in there, I will have to take them out. And I do try and read it like if you are referring to another person and you put he and or she in there, I do try and degender it, shall we say, so that it's not aimed at any particular person, but it's more relevant to everybody. So just be mindful of that, that when I read them out, it might not be exactly how you word it, but it's just to make sure it's like relevant for everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Perfect. www.mybunnyvalentine.com, promo code FireDude15, right there at the bottom of the screen. Our good friend Ella, the bunny mom, helps support small businesses, helps support our friend Ella, and helps support bunny rescues everywhere. We love Puppy Cat. Puppy Cat's been around 8 years now. She was texting. 8 years she's had old Puppy Cat. And then, of course, we have Catalyst Wednesday tonight with Jim in Chicagoland. He is in the chat. Go subscribe to Jim and hit the notifications for him as well. Great program, middle of the week. Candlelight Scope. He fields any and all comments, questions. Let's chat about anything. Great way to de-stress halfway through this work week. And join Jim tonight. And I am usually there. I do have to work tomorrow, so we'll see. But I'm usually always at Catalyst. It's one of my favorite programs that is on Twitch and past platforms.
Predecessors, yes.
Yes, indeed. All right. That being said, thank you all again for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
It's been a fun episode. Please remember to check in with yourself, check in with others.
And on the Discord.
And with the Discord, yeah.
I'll do that now.
And check in with our socials on the bio link. There's always new things happening. We'll have a new mental health moment coming, and all kinds of great stuff on the Discord. So hit us up, and it was great chatting with everybody tonight. Thanks to all of the live comments, and we will see everybody back here next week for our live Q&A special. Very excited about that. Gemma, do you have anything in closing?
No, not really. I'm just going to post the self-check-in on the Discord when we end. I'm just putting the question thing in the chat again. I'll also post it in the Discord. But as we said, I don't know if you said it can be 100% anonymous if you don't want to put your name in. But as you said, thank you so much for being here and for being part of this amazing community.
Yep. Awesome. All right, guys. We'll see everybody back here next week for the live Q&A special. And everybody have a great week. Thanks for joining us as always.